17 of the NFL Pick'em Show on the Grueling Truth Radio Network, brought to you by Gridiron Mo, a new interactive football app where you get to call what you think the offense or defense should do during a live NFL game and see what all other fans have called also. Check out Gridiron Mo at www.gridironmo.com. It looks like I screwed that up, Matt. That's a first in a while, but we'll just roll with it so people know that I am fallible. All right. I want to welcome to the show first the man who came in last week, but he was 10-6. But if you listened to the show last week, you know he bullied me, and when I made my picks, he said I was going to lose those picks because he got a little big because he had to lead for a week. I made 3 weeks this year he had to lead. Well, help me welcome to the show 49ers fan, Matt Andruscavage.
What a great intro. Glad to be here, Mike. Yeah, you got me. I was close on those 2 games, but no, I was wrong. But I was right about the Bengal game. So we'll. I won't call it a win. I won't call it a win.
Anytime for it, you can't call it a win because you lost. We are now tied for first place.
But I believe we're still tied. Yes.
Yeah, we're tied. Which means you're no longer in first.
Your team is the one that usually cracks under pressure, especially under prime time.
Well, I don't crack under pressure, though. And the guy who came in first with me last week, who is now just 5 games back with 1 week left in the playoffs, help me welcome to the show former Pittsburgh Steeler, Jacksonville Jaguar, Leon Searcy.
What's going on, fellas? I'm only 5 back, huh? 1 game to go?
Well, you got 1 week to go, but then we got the playoffs, too, so you might have to pick a little stupid to have a chance. But
yeah.
And I want to welcome to the show a man whose team got their ass kicked by the New York Jets. Let me welcome to the show New England Patriots fan, Dave Siderski.
Still sitting at 12-3, baby, atop the AFC.
Yeah, well, good for you, but you lost. And they've lost, 3 out of 5?
They have.
Don't matter. We're still seated first.
Haven't been looking Patriots like that.
It don't matter as long as we're in first. All right.
Haven't the Bengals lost 4 out of 6?
No.
You guys haven't lost 4 out of 6?
Maybe. Who the hell's counting by now? Doesn't matter, because we're in first and we won the AFC North, baby.
Just asking.
We won the AFC North, baby. So.
Oh, I got 4 of those hats.
Well, we did, but there was not much competition with the Browns and the Steelers and the Ravens. But, all right, first game of the week. Dave, Jacksonville at Houston.
I'm going to go with Houston. They picked it up towards the end of the year. Who the hell knows who's playing quarterback, but they're on a roll, and I think they beat Jacksonville by a good 10 to 14 points.
All right, Leon?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Houston. They're the better team. They got a lot more to play for. Jacksonville, offensively, I like the way they've been clicking the last couple of weeks with defense. They can't stop running water, to be quite honest with you. They can't get after the passer. They can't stop the run. Houston at home with playoff implications on the line, I just think they go out and dominate the Jaguars. I think Houston wins this game easy, so I'm picking the Texans.
All right, Matt.
Do the Texans really even have anything to play for in this game? Didn't they box up the division?
Yeah, they won the division.
Okay.
They haven't yet.
They
would have
really
locked up
move
the division if the Bengals would have won last night.
Okay. Oh, no. So you're saying they don't have the division locked up?
No, they still got to win the division.
Okay. All right. Then they're going to play hard. Yeah, Houston will win this game. If they got something to play for, then especially at home, 8-7. The whole division was looking pretty raunchy most of the year. Houston is definitely one of the better teams, one of the hotter teams right now. I would expect them to pretty much roll in this game.
Well, they're hot because, the last few weeks, they've beaten Tennessee, teams like that. I actually think Jacksonville has more talent. Brandon Whedon's playing quarterback for Houston. I think it's going to be a close game. And the other thing is Jacksonville usually plays a couple bad games before they throw up a great game. But I'm going to go with Houston actually in a close game. Next game, Leon. Pittsburgh at Cleveland.
Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm going to go with the Steelers. I don't know much I don't know what they're really playing for. I mean, they basically outed themselves out the playoffs, to be quite honest with you. They had the opportunity last week, kind of seal it up, looking a little bit prettier than they're looking now. But it is Cleveland. I went in last week thinking that the Steelers were going in and roll against the Ravens, and they went up and laid a goose egg against my Ben. He threw interceptions. They couldn't stop the pass. I mean, we talked about it earlier. They just made Ryan Mallett look like an all-pro in that game. That secondary just gave up too many yards. It's a rivalry game. I'm going to go with the Steelers, but it's going to be a lot closer than everybody thinks. I mean, the Steelers going to have to pull this one out late. I think Cleveland's going to play tough, but I think the Steelers ultimately win. So I'm going to go with the Steelers.
All right, Matt.
What are the Steelers? Are they out, or are they just
Buffalo
out?
Has
because they need a
Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo has to beat
the Jets. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so Buffalo beats the Jets and Pittsburgh wins. Pittsburgh gets in.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I thought the Jets are up a little more. Okay. Well, I do think Pittsburgh should have really no trouble with Cleveland. There's really nothing about Cleveland that should give them trouble, although it is a division game. I think I'll just take Pittsburgh by 10. They have a far superior offense, and I don't know. I just don't see Cleveland doing a whole lot.
Yeah, I think Cleveland threw for over 300 yards the first time they played the Steelers. They just couldn't do anything when they got inside the 20. I think Manziel could give them trouble just because Pittsburgh's DBs are not very good. As Leon said, they made Ryan Mallett look good. And that's more impressive than making Johnny Manziel look good, even, because I've actually seen him play a couple good games up till now. I don't remember Mallett ever doing it. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh also. I think I told you a few weeks ago, guys, that I thought Pittsburgh would lose one of those two games. So I thought it would actually be Cleveland at the time. But since they lost to Baltimore, I'm not going to push it for two in a row. Dave, Pittsburgh at Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Pittsburgh, too. Way more talented. They still at least have a little something on the line, and they win by a good 2 touchdowns.
All right, next game. This is actually one of the better games of the week. We'll go Jets at Bills, Matt.
Jets at Bills. Definitely a tough game. I think the Jets play better at home than they do on the road. I know, Mike, you don't see a whole lot of value with home field. Overall, I understand where you're coming from on that. I think it does factor in a little bit. I think the Bills could actually upset the Jets on this. The Jets are the better team. They got a really good pass rush. Their run game has struggled. Chris Ivory has not been stellar as of late, but Fitzpatrick, as long as he has protection, he can move the ball. I can see the Bills getting after him. And Tyrod Taylor has played well. I don't know if LaShawn McCoy's back, but I think it's very possible the Bills could win in a very close game. Either way, I think this game's close. I'm just going to take the Bills by 3. I think this definitely could be an upset.
Okay. I'm going with the Jets. Even if they can't run the ball, they can throw it. They got Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker. They've got, I think, the best offensive line in football. Buffalo's secondary has not been very good this year. Heck, their defense has not been very good. The Bills did beat the Jets earlier in the season, which I think also, and they beat them at New York. And the Bills haven't been the greatest home team in the world this year either, though, Matt. They've lost a few games there. New England and Cincinnati both blew them out. The Jets have more to play for. I don't like the fact that they just beat New England, so you always get the possible letdown. But I don't think when you have to win the next game, the letdown is going to be that big of a deal. I think the Jets win the game by 10 to 14 points. Dave, what do you think?
I'm going to go with the Jets in a close one. I agree with Matt. I think it's a close game. I think the Jets are better coached, more disciplined, and Rex Ryan's first season in Buffalo has been somewhat of a disappointment.
Well, most Rex Ryan seasons are disappointments because he goes in promising the Super Bowl right away. Leon.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I'll go with the Bills in this game. I don't know why. I think the Jets are the better team. Like they said, they're the better coach team. They just came off a big win against New England. Y'all are pretty full down when you go into a game like that. Bills, for the most part, like you said earlier, they've been a disappointment. I thought going into the season this might be a sleeper as far as the playoffs, a wild card team. But for the most part, the Buffalo Bills defense has let the team down on many occasions. I like the development of Tyron Taylor. Concerned if LaShawn McCoy is going to play in the game, so that might be a concern. I just think the Bills maybe at home just have maybe a little bit more muster going into the game, even though the Jets have a lot more to play for. But I'm going to go with the Bills in the upset. But I think it's going to be a close one, so I think the Bills by 3.
Okay, next game, New England at Miami. The way Miami's played, they pretty much gave the game to Indianapolis last week. I know that historically New England's had trouble in Miami when they shouldn't. I don't think this is one of those times, though. I think New England wins this game in a walk. What do you think, Dave?
I don't think it's going to be a walk. New England isn't playing well right now. Every game is a dogfight. But I do think they win in a game that's closer than expected, maybe 24-14 or something like that.
Okay, Leon?
Yeah, I like the Patriots in this game. Usually a Bill Belichick team doesn't lose 2 in a row, especially going into the playoffs. This being the last game of the season, the Dolphins just haven't played well. They've been a big disappointment all season long. Tannehill wasn't a problem in the last game. The Dolphins just can't run the ball. They can't stop the run. The coach just they gave that game away. The Dolphins should have won that game. I think with Tom Brady coming in there after a defeat against the Jets last week, it's just going to be Tom Brady-ish. If they don't have any real pass rush, and that could be a sign of things to come when you don't get after Tom Brady and force him to have to move in the pocket. So I think the Patriots win this game easily, at least by 14 points.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I think Dave's 24-14 score is probably where this game's going to fall. It's going to be something, like you said, Mike. The Patriots have had trouble in Miami. They kind of played down to their level in years past. I think something similar happens this week, but New England will get it done.
All right, the next game, Dave, Tennessee at Indianapolis. Indianapolis still has an outside shot at the playoffs.
Oh, God, do I really have to pick a winner in this one? Who's playing quarterback for Indianapolis?
Nobody.
Hasselbeck?
They signed Josh Freeman. They signed Josh Freeman today. If Hasselbeck starts, he'll be hurt by the middle of the first quarter because of their offensive line. And then you'll get, Charlie Whitehurst?
I think he's out, too.
Whitehurst is the one that's out. So Hasselbeck will start, and then Josh Freeman will come in and play.
Yeah, you know what? Indianapolis, the season is over. Maybe not technically over, but I'm going to go with Tennessee in the upset.
Okay, Leon?
Yeah, I got you here, Dave. I'm going with you, too. I'm going with Tennessee in the upset. I just think that Indianapolis they've had a slew of injuries, losing Andrew Luck. The offensive line can't protect the passer no matter who's back there. This is just one of those teams where I don't think deserves to make the playoffs, and I don't think they will. I think the Texans ultimately win the division. I just think the Titans come in and just out-tough them. They're not really tough on either side of the ball. The games that I've watched them play, they can't run the ball. They can't protect the passer. They can't get the ball downfield. I think the Texans, I have no idea who they're playing at quarterback, but I just think they're going to be the better team that day, and they're going to sit in Indianapolis home packing. So I think the Colts lose this game. Tennessee wins this game by a touchdown.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, this could easily be maybe the Colts have a wide receiver who's an emergency quarterback who they'll just play the whole game and run gimmicks the whole time since they have no quarterback. But no, I think I don't see the Colts winning this game. I think the Titans. I think they have enough offense to be a problem. Delaney Walker's been a real good tight end all year. Dorial Green-Beckham has come on at the end of the year. Antonio Andrews can run. They're not great, but against the Colts, I could see them being effective. I think the Titans will win this game. The Colts are just a massive disappointment.
I'm going to go with the Colts here. Tennessee has played as bad as any team in football the last month, even worse than the 49ers. And I think the Colts actually, when I watch them play, I still see a team that's given effort. And Tennessee's been terrible on the road this year. They've been a home team that was competitive when they had Mariota. You talk about who they've got at quarterback in Indy. Who's Tennessee have at quarterback?
Yeah, that's
Zach
true.
Mettenberg?
Middleton.
Zach Mettenberg hasn't
yeah.
been successful since he played in the SEC.
That's
So
true.
I'm going to go away from you guys. I'm going to go with Indy so I can hopefully pick up another game. I'm not going to sit here and just flat out tell Matt, Leon, and Dave, you lose that pick because that's been proven.
Well, that would be
not the way to do it.
That's not what you usually do, but we'll take it.
I never say something like that. Leon verified that last week. But is that not right, Leon? Don't you get tired of Matt's arrogance sometimes because the Niners won a couple Super Bowls?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
It's just kind of sickening. I mean, I almost cried when the Bengals lost last night because I knew he was going to browbeat me over it.
You called me. I didn't call you.
Yeah, I called you just so you couldn't call me to make fun of me right away.
I wasn't going to do that. I've never done that to you. You always call me.
Yeah, you do it all the time. But that's all right. You can act like you don't. Everybody knows the truth and listens to the show. But we're going to have to stop and take a break from SteelbergBox.com. Make sure you check it out at www.steelbergbox.com. We'll be back in a minute.
I'd like to tell you about our new website, www.steelbergbox.com. A monthly fan box service built to take a fan's passion for the Pittsburgh Steelers to a whole new level. Offering 3 different fan boxes to choose from and several different plans, fans are guaranteed to get way more value in their box than they paid. It's simple. Drop by www.steelbergbox.com. Choose the category and size: men, women, youths, and infants. Then, pick one of our 3 Steelers merchandise fan boxes. After you choose your fan box, hit subscribe. Then choose your monthly plan. You're done. Go Steelers.
Welcome back to the Grilling Truce Week 17 NFL Pick'em Show with myself, Mike Goodpaster, Matt Andruscavage, Leon Searcy, Dave Siderski. Let's see, who's up first next? Is it Leon, the Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals?
Well, I'm gonna go with the Bengals to win this game. I mean, the Ravens, had to play their best game of the season last week against the Steelers. They just totally shut down their offense. Matt Ryan just threw the ball everywhere. I just think the Bengals are a better team. The Ravens do play well at home, so I'm not surprised they got up for that game against the Steelers, but they're going on the road against the Bengals team. Outside of their quarterback and their secondary, they're pretty strong. They got a decent offensive line. They got a hellified pass rush. I think Dunlap had 3 sacks in the game last week.
Wait a second. Now, you're calling the Bengals defensive backs not very good?
Well, yeah, they got some injuries.
They're banged up.
They're banged up.
They're even banged up. They're pretty decent. I mean, you still got Pac-Man Jones. You got Reggie Nelson.
Well,
I mean, come on.
He's trying to give you team credit.
Patrick.
I'm trying to give you
No, he's not, because he just ripped on him. And Reggie Nelson should be the defensive player of the year in the NFL. He should. Who's played better?
He's had an outstanding season, absolutely. I'm just saying they're a little banged up.
5 years.
I mean, if they're healthy, they would win this game by 21. But they're a little banged up. It's a divisional game. The Ravens will play tough, but the Bengals ultimately will come out and win this game at home. So I'm taking the Bengals to win. And
all right, Matt.
The DBs are average DBs.
Yeah, Reggie Nelson's average. Pac-Man Jones is average. I mean, what do you consider the Pittsburgh Steelers DBs then?
They're horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Matt,
especially
you're
up. Yeah, I think like you said, Leon, the Ravens really were able to play up for the Pittsburgh game. I think if this game was in Baltimore, they might be able to do something. Maybe even win the game only because it's A.J. McCarron and not Andy Dalton. And because it's a divisional game, I do think the Ravens may keep this game close for a while. You know, if the Bengals were totally healthy, I don't think this would be a contest at all. But because they're banged up, the Ravens do have a chance to make plays. A.J. McCarron can make mistakes. You know, this is not the same Bengal team that we watched the first, 8 to 10 games. But that said, I think the Bengals would come out on top of it when it's all said and done.
All right, A.J. McCarron on Monday night played pretty good against Denver. I mean, he's not Andy Dalton, but Ryan Mallett probably is never going to play another game like he did last week. The Bengals DBs are much better, and the Bengals pass rush is better. I mean, if you watch Carlos Dunlap last night, the fact that he didn't make the Pro Bowl team is an absolute joke.
That's ridiculous.
I think this is going to be a lot like, unfortunately, the San Francisco game, where I think the Bengals just play it close to the vest. They get up a touchdown or two, and they sit on it, and they win the game something like 24-10. Dave?
I would agree with that. It's going to be one of those ugly division games, but ultimately Cincinnati has the much better roster. A.J. McCarron has been playing pretty decent, although he's banged up with the hurt wrist. But they have too much talent for the Ravens, so it's going to be I'll go 24-17 Cincinnati.
All right, Matt. Washington at Dallas, which I think is an interesting game. Dallas beat them at Washington a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that is an interesting game. Dallas with no quarterback is just a problem. Washington's playing well even on the road. They're not just playing well at home. They're much better at home, but they have even been playing well on the road. I don't think they can really do anything one way or another. I would expect them to play maybe the starters just for the first half and then maybe pull them, which would definitely give Dallas a chance to win the game if they're trying hard. Washington should win this game, but it is possible for Dallas to win if they sit them out. I'll take Washington by a field goal, but either result would not surprise me just because of Washington not having much to play for.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on this. I can't see picking Dallas. I mean, Kellen Moore, I thought coming out of college would be a decent NFL quarterback. And at best, he's decent, and I don't think that's going to be enough to win the game. Dallas defensively has played really well at home lately, almost beat the Jets a couple weeks ago. Seems like they're playing hard. I mean, but they just can't score points. And Kirk Cousins, not a great quarterback, but a very good NFL quarterback. They got Deshaun Jackson. They got some running backs. Jordan Reed, the tight ends, played really well. I just think Washington has too many weapons. But like you said, if they pull them during the second half and don't put much emphasis on this game. But I think on the other hand there is you've got Washington with some young players like Kirk Cousins. I mean, they may want to get him to work. So I'm going to go with they play him the whole game and Washington wins the game by 7 to 10 points. Dave, what do you think?
I agree. Tempting to pick the upset, but I have no confidence in Dallas's offense. Washington finds a way to win a close one.
Okay, Leon?
Yeah, I'll go with the Redskins as well. Got the division wrapped up. They have nothing really to play for. I wouldn't play Kirk Cousins more than a quarter. The Cowboys, they don't have any quarterback, they don't have any running game. Offensive line has been a disappointment. Defenses, like you said, Mike, they played well at home. They can't get after the passer. So I think a couple of hits on Cousins early on, I think they pull them. But I think somehow the Redskins still win this game in a close one. I think when it comes down to it, they probably win by a late touchdown or a late field goal. So I'm going to still go with the Redskins to win.
All right, the next game is my favorite team, the San Francisco 49ers, hosting the St. Louis Rams.
Your sincerity
I've always liked the Rams. What are you talking about? I've always liked the Rams. But the Rams have played a lot better the last couple of weeks. Case Keenum's actually played well. The defense is starting, especially the front four, starting to play the way they did towards the beginning of the year when they actually were a pretty good team. They're coming off a big win against Seattle. San Francisco, I think they're still playing hard, which you have to respect. I just don't think they have enough weapons. I think Todd Gurley's probably the difference in this game. I'm going to take the Rams. Dave?
I'm going to go with the Rams, too. I like Todd Gurley a lot. and I think they're playing better right now.
All right, Leon.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Rams too. It's unfortunate that Jeff Fisher, coach team, doesn't play until like the second half of the season. They have shown improvements, like you said, with the defense, the front four. It's good to see Gurley back. He had like 85 yards rushing in the last game. I mean, that kid's a beast. He's definitely going to be something special to watch in the near future. The 49ers have played respectably, but they just don't have enough. They just don't have enough talent on that team to compete for 4 quarters. And I think the Rams win this game easily. It is a divisional rivalry game, but I just think the 49ers just don't have enough firepower offensively to compete against. And I don't think they're going to be able to stop Gurley going into the game. So I think the Rams are going to win this game.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, the Rams should win this game. The only thing that would give the Niners a chance in this game is the Rams are coming off a really big win. The Niners do play well. For them, if they play well, it's at home, and the Rams don't usually play well on the road. The Todd Gurley factor is probably the difference, though. I don't really see now with all the guys that are out. And just with how good Todd Gurley is, he should be able to be the difference. I don't think the Rams are real good. They're very sporadic. They're very inconsistent. But obviously, when they are on there, they're not an easy team to beat. So either result wouldn't surprise me. But I think Gurley's the difference in this game, and they'll win.
I think Gurley's the difference. Plus, the 49ers line's not very good, banged up, and the Rams' defensive line can still get pressure on you. So I think they're going to be in Blaine Gabbert's face all day.
Definitely.
Next game, Dave, this is yours. I think this might be the toughest game of the week to pick. New Orleans at Atlanta.
Ugh.
See, I told you.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Atlanta. They played well last week. Breeze has the plantar fascia tear in his left foot. Neither team excites me very much, but I'm going to go with the home team. Falcons win 38-31.
All right, Leon.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Falcons at home as well. It's just a little bit too late for the Falcons. They wait, to start playing football, last couple of weeks of the season. And their playoff chances are pretty much out the window. The Saints are the Saints. They don't play well on the road. They play better at home. They've been a disappointment defensively. They definitely missed the tight end. They missed their all-pro tight end. The offense just doesn't look the same. And for some reason, the Falcons found the defense against the Panthers. They pretty much shut down Cam Newton, the run game. Matty Ice had a decent game against the Carolina Panthers, and that's a good defense that he went up against. I think that the Saints defense that he goes up against, he's going to light them up at home. I think this game is going to be a blowout. I think the Falcons win this game 35-20. So I'm taking the Falcons at home.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, Saints are just not very good on the road at all. That said, it's a divisional game. Could be a close game, but I think Atlanta's got something to play for. Because the Cardinals have something to play for against the Seahawks. The Seahawks, I don't think they're going to beat Arizona if Arizona's really trying to win that game. And that would put Seattle at 9-7, and it would open a possible door for Atlanta. So Atlanta needs to win the game at home against a team that's not very good on the road. I think there's every reason to believe that Atlanta will win this game. Might be a close game, but I'll take Atlanta.
Yeah, I think Dan Quinn's done a good job with Atlanta. They only won, 3 or 4 games last year? And you're talking about going to the last game of the season with a chance to make the playoffs. I think, what was the guy's name that coached there before? Mike Smith? I think that was a really soft team. And I don't think there's a chance that they could have beat a physical Carolina Panther team with him as the coach. I think Quinn's done a great job. New Orleans' defense is probably the worst defense in the NFL. And the Falcons have Freeman They have Jones. They have White. I mean, Matt Ryan, good quarterback. I don't think he's as good as Drew Brees, but Brees is playing hurt. Brees don't have as many weapons. It's in Atlanta. Atlanta has more to play for. I'm going to go with Atlanta by a couple touchdowns. Leon, classic game, Detroit at Chicago.
Oh, God.
Classic game in 1956.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. This game is. Hope this game is not even televised.
It's a hard one to pick, though.
Yeah, but this game
is a hard one to pick. There's a lot of games here this week that are hard to pick.
Hey, this is just two bad teams. I'm gonna go with Chicago at home. I mean, they've got. This is the finale, the last game of the season at home against Detroit. Like you said, this game would have been good about 50 years ago, but I just don't. Neither team is really that good on both sides of the ball. I'm just going to pick the Bears at home to win.
All right, Matt.
Gosh. I actually have to pick somebody on this. I don't really. This is really a difficult game to pick.
Get the coin out, Matt. That's what I might do here.
I know. I might have to do that. You know, it's all right. I'm flipping the coin, and it is great. I guess I got to take the Bears. I don't know. I don't like it at all. Just because I could see either team playing well, or I could see either team playing really bad. It's possible that it's Calvin Johnson's last game in a Lions uniform, so you could see him potentially having a big day. On the other hand, it's cold in Chicago. You could see that being a possible problem for the Lions. I don't know. I'm going to let chance dictate this one, so I'll take the Bears in a close one.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bears just because they're the home team. They both suck. I mean, have the Chicago Bears ever had a quarterback that was great outside of maybe Sid Luckman?
Sid Luckman.
That was it. It was Sid Luckman. What if they had since? You had Bobby Douglas run.
Mike Tomczak.
Okay, I said a really good quarterback. I mean, Mike Tomczak to me doesn't qualify. I don't think Jim McMahon qualifies. I think he was
Eric
overrated.
Kramer.
He was like Jim McMahon was like a poor man's Brett Favre.
Bobby
he
Douglas
got on a
run.
team where he couldn't throw a pick for the team to lose in the Super Bowl because they were up by 36. Dave.
Yeah. Okay. So can we can we make this a mythical matchup with Sid Luckman as the quarterback of the Bears and Bobby Lane?
Well, you know what, Dave? From what I've learned on your site, if we made Detroit in the 50s against Chicago in like 1985, the matchup in one of your mythical matchups, which people can find on Facebook, I know who you would pick. You would pick the 2004 Patriots to win.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I mean, he picked the 2004 Patriots to beat the 78 Steelers by like 30 points the other night.
I think the 78 Steelers and the 84 Niners.
Good.
Two of the three best teams in history.
Did you have beating the 92 Cowboys?
What's in your
You had like the 76 Saints beating the 92 Cowboys or something too. Go ahead, pick Detroit and Chicago, Dave.
All right, so I'm gonna pick the Bears. Reluctantly,
the Bears
of two evils. The Bears.
All right, who picked last? Was that Leon?
I started with the Chicago and Detroit.
You started. All right, so that makes Philadelphia at the Giants, Matt.
Ooh, Philadelphia at the Giants.
Another crappy matchup that's hard to pick.
It sure is. I think Chip Kelly was fired today. I don't know who's taking over. Last game of the year at New York. Confident. There's chatter that he's on the hot seat again. I think the Giants
over, I believe, as the interim coach.
Okay. I think the Giants win this. Odell Beckham will be back. They'll probably play hard the last game of the year. It's a divisional game. This is a classic rivalry. I think Odell Beckham will probably be the difference in the game. It might not. I don't have any idea what the score will be, but they were just humiliated last week. I think they'd like to go out with a little bit of pride. So I'll take the Giants.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Giants just because they got Beckham. Pat Shurmur, I think his dad was Fritz Shurmur. He was probably the greatest defensive line coach in NFL history. Coached the Green Bay Packers defensive line in the 90s. Also wrote probably the most comprehensive book on defensive line play also, but you might want to go get that, but it costs $200 on eBay because it's out of print. I think Leon's buying me that for my birthday. But
oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. That didn't sound convincing. So I'm going to go with the Giants. I think the difference is this. The Giants, I think, as a team, love their coach. And I think they're trying to save his job, and if not, they're going to send him out the right way. The only thing that worries me is maybe the Eagles hated Chip Kelly so much. They've been waiting for this time to show everybody how bad a coach he was compared to what they could have done. So I'm going to go with the Giants. Dave?
I'm going to go with the Giants, too. Yeah, it was Chip Kelly today was a shocker, and that team is clearly in disarray. And plus, they're playing on the road against the Giants, so I'm going to go with the Giants.
All right, Leon?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Giants at home. I mean, anytime you can beat the Eagles in this rivalry, I think the Giants at home, this might be Tom Coughlin's last hurrah in New York. Chip Kelly and the Eagles, I wasn't surprised by the firing. They've just been a disappointment over the last, this year especially. Just been a very disappointing team, both offensively and defense. Although they did have that big win against the Patriots, but they've just been slipping and sliding since then. Hopefully we don't get bad Eli because the Vikings last week put a stomping on the Giants. Eli threw 3 interceptions. I think he plays better at home. I think the end of the season is bright. I think they beat their division rival, the Eagles. So I'm going to go with the Giants.
All right, next game, Tampa Bay at Carolina. I guess it's mine. I actually think Tampa Bay's got a shot here. Tampa Bay's got some offensive weapons. I'm going to go with Carolina just because Tampa Bay's so inconsistent. It's hard to pick them in anything. I'm going to go with Carolina. What do you think, Dave?
I'm going to go with Carolina in a close one, too. I think, I think trying to go undefeated wears the team out. You've kind of seen this over the last few weeks with Carolina, where they're just squeaking out victory after victory over inferior teams and finally follow the Falcons. But they have just enough to beat Tampa Bay.
All right, Leon?
I'm going to go with Tampa Bay in an upset. I think Carolina, I think they were a little bit exposed. I think they're a better team than how they played last week. Like you said, Dave, trying to go undefeated does put a lot of pressure on the team, and the Falcons came in there and pretty much shut down their offense, and then Matt Ryan was effective throwing the ball against Jones went ballistic on their defense. I mean, everybody was talking about how vaunted that defense was, but Julio Jones just went ludicrous on the Carolina Panthers secondary. I think Tampa Bay, the problem hasn't been Jameis Winston. He's had a pretty good season. He's had some weapons. The offensive line is average, but they've been doing an adequate job in protecting them. Defensively, they still can't get after the pass. Really can't stop the run as effectively as they should. But I think Jameis Winston is going to be up for this game. I mean, it's going to be a tit for tat rivalry between him and Cam Newton, and I think Jameis Winston is going to be up for the challenge. He's going to go into the game wanting to beat Cam Newton, and I think that Tampa Bay may have enough weapons to actually get it done. So I'm going to go with Tampa Bay in the upset.
So, Leon, got a quick question. All right, you got a quarterback like Cam Newton who likes to run around, throw the ball, run the ball himself, leave design runs for him. Is it possible that a team that doesn't have a good pass rush could actually be more effective against him?
Absolutely, because if they're not getting off the ball, he can't run. Hell,
yeah, and he's got to stand in the pocket. And it's the same thing I've seen with Ben Roethlisberger. He likes to move around in the pocket. Teams that don't put pressure on him, he tends to throw a couple picks.
He does. He forces the ball in. I think Cam has a tendency to do that too, especially if he's not effective running the ball. Because, like you said, they have design plays where he runs. They run that option that, and they had a little counter where he runs behind the, guard pulling or tackle pulling. This might benefit Tampa Bay, the fact that they can't get after the passer. They'd be able to stop his little.
Yeah, because if you sit your line at this line of scrimmage and you can spy him with your linebacker, it seems like you might be able to take away him running the ball. And then the problem with Cam Newton is this. He's only completed, 55, 56% of his passes? I think a lot of that's just because of the fact that his wide receivers are not that good. So if you force those wide receivers and Cam to throw the ball to beat you all the time, I think you have a better chance to beat them.
Yeah, they do. Well, that's what the Falcons did last week. They forced him to throw the ball. He wasn't as effective as he usually is. And I just think that Jameis Winston will take this game personally. I mean, you got your Heisman Trophy winners, and all the attention is drawn to Cam and what he's been doing this year, deservedly so. I mean, you go 14-1, you're gonna get all the attention. But I think Jameis Winston quietly has been having a very effective year, and he has the weapons. The offensive line can protect him. They can get after him a little bit. So I think Tampa Bay wins this.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, it's possible. If Tampa Bay were to get a break or two early in the game and keep Cam Newton off the field, and Jameis Winston just be able to frustrate the defense, it's certainly possible because like you guys said, there's a lot of weapons on Tampa. Charles Sims has played well. Doug Martin's played well. You got Mike Evans out there. Safarian Jenkins at tight end is back. I don't know if Vincent Jackson's out there. You guys can maybe let me know about that. But there are a lot of weapons on that team. It is possible. I also agree with what you said about a team that doesn't have a big pass rush. That could be an advantage because, like you said, if they like to run that veer, that inverted veer, where Cam Newton is on the keeper, he runs right up the middle, and that's been very effective all year long. If he's not able to do that, that does take a possible weapon away. So all of that is certainly possible. I agree that could happen. I think when it comes down to it, though, they have to win this game to secure home field advantage. They're at home. They're coming off a loss. I think if they were 15-0, they would be more likely that Tampa Bay could be the one to pull an upset here. But because Carolina has to win the game, I think they're going to be more effective on the ground. They're going to have Jonathan Stewart back. They've got 2 or 3 effective running backs. They don't have to run to Cam Newton in order to generate a run game. And I think Carolina's defense is going to be able to match up well against Tampa Bay's weapons. I think they will force a couple of turnovers. And if the field is short, Cam Newton will be just fine with whatever they call. So I think it will be Carolina that will get up on them early. And if that happens, it'll be another 38-17 win like they've had several times this year. But I definitely think it's possible. I just think it's unlikely.
Yeah, I agree with you, Matt. I do think it's possible. I can see how it can be done, but I don't think it'll happen. But we've also said that about many games this year that happened the way we didn't think they happened. So
true.
We've got 4 games left. All 4, I think, are going to be competitive games. They could be tough to pick. We're going to start off with Dave, Oakland at Kansas City.
Kansas City's on a roll, baby. They're at home. I think they're the better team. They win. They win by 2 touchdowns.
Okay, Leon.
Yeah, I like Kansas City at home. They're the better team. Although I do like the improvement that the Raiders have shown this season. Jack Del Rio's done an outstanding job on with that team. Like the development of Carr, like Amari Cooper as a receiver. But I just think the Chiefs, they're in playoff mode right now. They've been on a roll. They've been beating teams. Haven't been flashy, nothing pretty, but they've just been winning consistently. And I think, going to the playoffs, you want to be playing your best football. And I think Oakland's going to give them everything they can handle in the game. But I think ultimately at home, I think Kansas City gets it done. I think the Raiders will be going home after this game. Well, they're going home anyway, but the Chiefs are going to send them home.
They're going home unhappy.
Yeah, they're going home unhappy. There you go. So I think the Chiefs are going to win this game, but it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be a dogfight, but I think the Chiefs ultimately win in the end.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, I really like what the Raiders have done this year. Even if they haven't won a lot of games, they've been pretty competitive in nearly every game they've played. They play teams really tough, especially those division games. And I would expect the Raiders to play Kansas City very tough. I would expect a close score, especially through 3 quarters. I think Kansas City will win the game by a touchdown, but the Raiders are not going to make it easy for them. At home, the Chiefs should be able to pull this off, but close game.
All right. I was going to pick Oakland in this game until the Amari Cooper injury happened. I think with Cooper hurt, I think it's going to make it a little bit harder for him to score. Latavius Murray did run for 94 yards on him last time they played. I think it's like a 17-14, 17-16 game, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs also in a close game. Next one, San Diego at Denver. Leon.
Chargers, it did feel a disappointment. I think Denver wins this game. At home, coming off a big win against the Bengals, overtime win against the Bengals this Monday night. I just think the Broncos at home are the better team. The Chargers have been in disarray all season long with injuries, not protecting Rivers, can't run the ball, give up too many yards defensively. I just think the Broncos are the better team on both sides of the ball, and at home, I think the Chargers don't stand a shot going into this game. So I think the Broncos are going to win.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, San Diego was healthy, especially if they had Keenan Allen. This is the kind of game that if Rivers had the weapons around him, I could see him going in and catching fire and really giving the Broncos a hard time. But the problem is their defense isn't very good. Their offensive line is real bad. They've got a lot of guys out, including Melvin Gordon, Keenan Allen. Phillip Rivers is one of these guys that can get hot at any time, but Denver's defense is real good. They're at home. They need to win. I don't see any reason that they can't win this game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout just because the Broncos don't put up a lot of points, but I think the Broncos will be in control for the entire game, and they'll win.
All right, this is a game where I really want to pick San Diego, but that's because of my own self-interest, which is to get the Bengals a bye. I think this could be a close game. I just can't get past the fact that I don't see where they're going to get a running game, and it's hard to get hot on your back unless you're a prostitute. Why y'all laughing? It's true. It's not funny. It's just true. I mean,
it's unexpected.
Rivers on his back. Is it really unexpected, Matt?
Not super, but somewhat.
Okay. But it's kind of some sophomore humor. I'm disappointed in myself. I apologize. I'm going to go with Denver to win something like 24-17. I pray San Diego wins. I want to pick them, but since me and Matt are tied, I have to actually pick games the way I think they'll happen, which is what I've had to do the last couple of weeks. I actually thought the Bengals would win last week. So if they would have, I'd be up a game. So and see, that's what cost me, because when I got up like 5 or 6 games, I got cocky and I started picking games just for the heck of it because I wanted it to happen, and that didn't work out good for me. So I'm picking what I think from here on out. Dave, San Diego at Denver.
Well, I think the last time I was on the show, I made the mistake of picking San Diego over to Denver when they were playing in San Diego. I'm not going to make the same mistake.
I think we both did.
Yeah. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Denver's the much better team. Brock Osweiler kind of hit or miss as a quarterback, but overall the roster much better. They still have the opportunity to get the number 1 seed. They win this one easy.
All right, next game, very interesting. Seattle at Arizona, Matt.
Yeah, real tough game. I think if Carolina had won, I think Arizona would probably only play their starters for like a quarter.
Here's my question. Are they playing at the same time? Did they move the Carolina game to 4 o'clock also?
That's a great question. I don't know. I don't know what the times are. My guess would be Arizona's at the late game.
Matt?
Why would I? Yeah, I take after the guy who runs the show.
Leon, your name's on it. He's talking about this.
Yeah, he is.
This is the weekly pick'em show with Leon Searcy. So
yeah,
I'm sure Leon knows the answer, though. I'm sure he studied. Leon, you studied at the beach, didn't you?
I studied I studied at the beach. Yeah, sipping on that colada. I was studying. Yeah.
First thing you looked at was those NFL start times.
Oh, yeah, you go.
Yep.
Yeah, I would guess Carolina's at noon, and then Arizona would be the late game. But like you said, they could move it up. I don't know. I don't have it in front of me.
I think they moved the game because San Diego, Denver, and Kansas City, Oakland, I think are playing at the same time now.
Okay. It would be better if they were playing at the same time.
Because if Denver loses, Kansas City can still win the division.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. Denver could go to the 6, or they could be the 1.
Yeah.
But, yeah, if the game is played at the same time, I think Arizona's going to go all out, and I think they'll win. I think Seattle is they still have the potential to be a very good team. Watching Doug Baldwin and Russell Wilson, they're on fire in the same way, not the same caliber of players, just so I don't get this thrown back at me. But I remember in 2004 when the Panthers were missing like everybody, but Jake Delhomme and Muhsin Muhammad were on fire the last half of the year. It's like all they had, but they were just hooking up every single week. That seems to be what Russell Wilson and Doug Baldwin are doing. They're just finding ways to connect and score. And but I don't think it'll be enough. I just don't think the Seahawks have a run game right now. Even if Marshawn Lynch is back against Arizona, they're super deep. I think they're the most complete team in the league right now because of the health. They're only missing the Honey Badger. Otherwise, they're doing real good. Arizona will probably win the game. They'll probably still just be the number 2 seed, though, but that could potentially knock Seattle out of the playoffs.
All right, I'm going to go with Arizona also. I just don't see Seattle being able to score enough points either. I mean, Russell Wilson, I think, is an elite quarterback. I mean, he's taken his team to 2 Super Bowls. He won one of them. And the way he's playing this year without a running game, Russell Wilson is a bad man, as Stephen A. Smith would say about Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
But I think Russell Wilson is an elite quarterback. I think he's a bad dude. And I think Arizona wins the game. I don't think they'll necessarily win it easily. I'd say something like 27-20, 27-24. But I think Arizona gets it done, and Atlanta could possibly be in the playoffs if Matt's mathematics are correct.
I don't know if it's
Are we
correct.
sure about that if Seattle
possible.
loses and Atlanta wins?
I don't know if it's straight up like that. I just know that Atlanta is 8-7 and Seattle's 9-6. I mean, Atlanta's
Dave.
still in the hunt for a reason.
Dave.
Yeah, if Seattle was playing any other team in the league, I would pick them. I was shocked when they lost to the Rams last week.
So you'd pick them over the Patriots? Would you
Yes.
pick them over the Patriots? Would you
Yes,
pick them over
right
the 2004 Patriots?
No.
Okay, because that was the greatest team that ever lived, right? Dave thinks the 2004 Patriots were the greatest team that ever lived. Go ahead.
They might have been. They might have been. But
at least they had Corey Dillon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it took a Bengal to make you great.
I was waiting for you to say it.
Your greatest team was only great because they had a Bengal.
Yeah, it took the Patriots to get the most out of him. But, yeah, back on.
Are you going to pick the Seattle-Arizona game, or are we just going to talk about the 2004 Patriots all night? You bring them up all the time. Go ahead.
Right. Arizona, they're the best team. They're playing the best of any team in the league right now. They're the hottest team. I think they're the lead. They're the leading. Favorite for the Super Bowl. So I'm going with the Cardinals.
All right, Leon.
Yeah, I'm going with the Cardinals. They're the better team, both sides of the ball. They've been the luckiest team as well. There's no major injuries, outside the Honey Badger. They've been relatively healthy throughout the whole season. They're just a better team. I think overall they're probably the best team in the NFL. Seattle, like you said about Russell Wilson, the second half of the season, Russell Wilson has been lights out. He's been sensational the way he's been able to throw the ball without having a really decent run game. His offensive line isn't that stellar as well. They're average offensive line, but his ability to move in the pocket, to make plays, and like you said with Doug Baldwin, they've just been connecting, and they've been scoring touchdowns and just getting the deep ball and been very effective on teams. But I just think that Arizona they're rolling right now. They're the best team. They're playing for a lot. They can win this game, and then ultimately, Carolina could lose, and they could get a possible 1 seed. That definitely makes a difference come playoff time. But I think Carolina's just a better team. I don't see them losing this game, especially at home.
You mean Arizona?
What did I say, Carolina?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm bad. My bad. Arizona. Arizona.
Hey, but you didn't call Ryan Fitzpatrick Kirkpatrick this week.
I told you what I'm going to call
you didn't even bring him up.
Yeah.
Did we even talk about him? Funny.
All right. Next up, we'll have the Gridiron Mow Game of the Week, the Minnesota Vikings at the Green Bay Packers for the NFC North Championship. So catch a word from Gridiron Mow. Make sure you check them out at www.gridironmow.com. We'll be back for the Minnesota Green Bay preview right after this.
This is former All-Pro Leon Searcy. I've got a new interactive app called Gridiron Mow, where you get to call the plays, offense or defense, and a live NFL game. You get to interact with other fans, pick the play, pick the call. That's Gridiron Mow.
All right, we're back with Week 17 of the Grueling Truce NFL Pick'em Show with Dave Siderski, Leon Searcy, Matt Andruscavage. I'm Mike Goodpaster, and I guess I got to pick this game first. Minnesota at Green Bay. We know Green Bay dominated Minnesota at Minnesota a little earlier in the year. I'm going with Minnesota on this, guys. I think Adrian Peterson's going to go off, have a big game. I think the Vikings are just physically a tougher team than the Packers. Aaron Rodgers is still a great quarterback. He's had a really good year when you consider that he has no offensive line. I mean, he's missing his number one receiver in Jordy Nelson. For some reason now, Randall Cobb doesn't get the job done. I'm going with Minnesota by a touchdown at Lambeau. What do you think, Dave?
Reluctantly, I'm going to go with Green Bay. I think, I agree with many of your points, but, in the end, I think Aaron Rodgers manages to get the job done at home, but barely, in a close one.
All right, Leon?
Yeah, I'm picking Green Bay in this game. I do think Minnesota is a tougher team. I think they're a lot more physical. I think Adrian Peters is going to have a good game. I'm really not impressed with the Green Bay Packers defense, but at Lambeau, Aaron Rodgers didn't look Aaron Rodgers-less last week. So I think he bounced back in this game. I just think the Packers are going to win this game at home. It's really tough for the Vikings to come in Lambeau and win. So I think Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers get it done. I'm going with the Packers.
All
but
right.
It's going to be a close.
Matt?
Yeah, I'll take. I'm going to go with you, Mike. I think the Vikings are going to win this game. I think they're the better team. I think they're better coached. Teddy Bridgewater has played well as of late. The cold is not going to be a factor. They play in the cold too. Adrian Peterson, I think, is going to be the difference in this game. Although I do think Minnesota is going to get a lot out of their passing game. Green Bay is in disarray. They especially on offense, they've got a lot of. Not only the injuries, there's something wrong with the chemistry of the team. There's a disconnect between the coach and Aaron Rodgers. And I don't know if you watched all of the Cardinals-Packers game on Sunday, but there is definitely friction between the players. Everyone is frustrated, and it all starts with Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy. And Aaron Rodgers has a look of total bewilderment. I don't think just the chemistry alone is going to be enough to unravel them against Minnesota. Minnesota's playing real good. They're tight. I think they got this together to actually make a playoff run here. I think they're going to win the division. I think they're going to win by 10 points.
All right, and my question is this. Did that disconnect begin in the playoffs last year, the Packers-Seahawks game? What do you think, Leon?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. There was some good choice calls that were made in that game. They basically just gave a Super Bowl away. They played well enough against Seattle to win that game. It just last minutes of the game that this shouldn't have been made. I think that anytime there's a disconnect with the players and the coaching staff, especially this time of the season, it's a problem. It's a problem. So I don't know. It seems like there's some carryover from last week, from last year's game, the way the is played this season. They've had their injuries. Losing Jordy Nelson definitely hurt Aaron Rodgers and his arsenal. I mean, that was his player. That was his guy. Haven't been able to run the ball. Lacey has been hit and miss all season long. The defense hasn't been as stellar. They've never been really stellar. They've always been middle of the pack defensively. It's not the same Green Bay team that we're used to seeing. the lights out. Aaron Rodgers getting the ball downfield, rolling out, making plays. That has a lot to do with the fact that they have no running game, and their offensive line is terrible. Aaron Rodgers, he's taking hits, taking sacks, so that's a recipe for disaster, especially this time of the season when you're trying to make a playoff push. But I just think them at home, with the line, I think they play a lot better than they've been playing of late. The Vikings they're a tight-knit group. The coaching staff, they've done an excellent job with the team. I like the way Teddy Bridgewater and Peterson seems to be, and back to form. I just think, but at home, I just think Green Bay gets it done for some reason.
Yeah, well, Matt, you live in Wisconsin. What's your feeling? If they were to lose the division here and get knocked out in the first round, do you think McCarthy's job will be gone?
No, I don't. I think under a normal situation, and maybe in another place, another city, or just another organization might move on. I just don't think the Packers are that kind of organization. The way Wisconsin is, the Packers organization is very much like this. They like Wisconsin's very much they like people that have been there forever, and they don't really like to change a lot. Ted Thompson's not going to get fired. Mike McCarthy, the Hail Mary saved. If he was going to go, the Hail Mary saved his job. But no, I don't think there's any way McCarthy's going to go. I don't think they've really got I think they're looking around the league going, well, okay, who are we going to replace him with? They're just not that kind of organization. They don't take chances. They don't try to go out and get a couple of players to put them over the top. They just do what they've always done and kind of hope for the best. It's just the way that they are. They just go, well, we got Aaron Rodgers, we can win. That just seems to be the philosophy. But no, I don't think Mike McCarthy gets fired.
All right, Dave, any final thoughts?
I want to know how Matt, you're from Wisconsin. How did you become a 49er fan?
Well, I've answered
I always
this a few
answer
times.
too. I think
right.
his answer is a bunch of crap. Go ahead.
Well, whatever. It's true. I was 9 years old in 1986. It's not like I watched them in the Super Bowl. I saw a couple of games with Montana and Rice, and I was hooked. It's that simple.
Okay. Yeah.
So he hadn't been a Niners fan his whole life.
Okay. Yeah. My other final.
Well, not the first 8 years, but whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave's trying to give his final thought. Quit interrupting me.
My other final thought is the Packers, regardless of whether the Packers win the division or not, they don't get past the first round in the playoffs.
No. Well, it's possible if they beat the Vikings, they could play the Vikings in the first round of the playoffs. Correct?
Is that possible now?
I don't know. Well, no, because Seattle lost. But Seattle beat Minnesota.
Yeah, I think that Seattle loss really messes up the whole thing.
Yeah, but see, Seattle.
I think they'd play
beat
Seattle.
Minnesota. No, because if Minnesota loses, they'd have the same record as Seattle, and Seattle beat Minnesota.
That's true. That is true. Yeah, so maybe it would be.
Of course, you get the Atlanta thing that can be thrown in, so who knows? But I think the Vikings are done in the first round anyways, but we'll see. I've been wrong before, just once, but I was wrong once. Leon, any final words?
Well, this being the last game of the season, this is the best time of the year. I think the teams that are the competitive teams are playing their best football right now. I really like the Jets. The Jets are on the roll. Chiefs are on the roll. I think going into the midpoint of the season, we looked at in the AFC. I mean, it looked like it was going to be a runaway with the Bengals, the Patriots, and the Broncos. I think those teams are shaky at best now. I think the teams that the Chiefs, Jets, those are the type of teams they got to look out for. In the NFC, Carolina was on the roll, but they look a little shaky last week against Atlanta. I think the Cardinals are the team to beat in the NFC, regardless of whether they're a 1 seed or 2 seed. I don't see any other team in the NFC that's going to really make a push for the top 2 seeds. I think Carolina and the Cardinals are probably the best 2 teams in the NFC. I wouldn't be surprised if either one of those teams are represented in the Super Bowl. So this is the best time of the year, playoff time. You know, you want to be playing your best football, and there's no clear pick who's going to be representative of football. I think that's the best thing about, you know, going into the playoffs when you got teams, you know, teetering on greatness. But it's going to be really interesting in the AFC. I don't think the Patriots are a lock. I don't think the Broncos are. I don't even think the Bengals are a lock. But it's going to be very interesting in the AFC once these teams get going. So it should be a very exciting playoff season.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, like what Leon said, you know, it's this is the best time of year. You know, you got a lot of very hot teams like the Jets and the Chiefs. You got, I think the one true dominant team in the league is the Arizona Cardinals. And, you know, the AFC is real interesting because other than the Houston Texans, I think all 5 of the other teams have a legitimate chance at the Super Bowl. You know, it's really going to be hard to predict the AFC playoffs. But, you know, in the NFC, I don't think there's any reason to think that the NFC Championship will be anything but Arizona-Carolina. That's going to be a great game. They did not face during the regular season. I think Arizona goes to the Super Bowl, but I have really just no idea how the AFC is going to turn out. I think it's very close. So, like Leon said, best time of year, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. The AFC, I think, was a 3-team race until a few weeks ago. The Patriots' injuries on offensive line, I think, even bigger than the Edelman, because they're getting those guys back. I think the Bengals, the injury with Dalton, multiple guys on top of there. So, I think there's a case to be made right now that the way the teams are playing, the Jets are playing better than anybody in the AFC right now. The Chiefs, I'm still not completely sold. I'm never going to be completely sold just because Alex Smith is there. It's not that I think he's a bad quarterback. I just don't think that at some point Kansas City's got to be able to put points up to beat a New England, Denver, or Cincinnati. I mean, no matter what you say about Denver or Cincinnati, they've still got enough weapons that they're going to make you score 20 points to beat them probably. And I just don't know that Kansas City has that. I think Houston might be dangerous for the one home game just because they're at home, but I don't see them hosting a Kansas City or the Jets and possibly beating one of those 2 teams. I just think those 2 teams are too physically tough, and even though I'm not impressed with Alex Smith, I'm a lot more impressed with Alex Smith than I am Brandon Weeden, who, let's face it, he's a career backup in the NFL, where Alex Smith has done a good job for most of his career, at least an average, adequate job with the teams he's been with. I mean, his first 6 years were really rough in San Francisco because, you know, lack of offensive line, coaching, not a lot of weapons. When he had the weapons, he didn't screw it up, which is basically the kind of quarterback he is. You put him in, if he doesn't screw things up, everything will go all right. But the problem is, normally, to win a Super Bowl, you've got to be able to make a couple plays here and there that can win you that game. I don't think he can do that. So, I mean, really, I would pare it down to the 4 teams there. I don't think really that Kansas City or Houston are threats to win the Super Bowl or even get to the Super Bowl. They might be a threat to pull an upset, or one of them will beat the other one, of course. And then I think they go out in the divisional playoffs. So, yeah, I mean, I think the NFC is pretty much cut and dried. Arizona's the best all-around team. I think Minnesota's still a sleeper there. I think they're a tough defensive team, and anytime you got Adrian Peterson, he can go off at any time on a team, and you got an upset right there. And the Cardinals, I mean, it's not like they've dominated teams, not the really good ones. I mean, they go to Seattle, they win by a few points. Then they're at home, they win by, a field goal against Minnesota. They beat Cincinnati by a field goal. So it's not like they're blowing people's doors off. I don't think they're a dominant team. I just think they're a really well-coached team that has no significant weakness. Now, I think the AFC, you can make a case that the Patriots and Bengals were like that at one point, but I think injuries have stopped that. So that's my take on it. So if I had to pick an AFC representative out of the Super Bowl right now, I don't think I could do it. NFC, I would go with Arizona. But great show tonight. I want to thank Dave for coming on at the last minute's notice.
Thank you.
So say thank you there, Dave. All right. I know you're from Boston. People from Boston can be kind of rude sometimes.
I said thank you.
I know, but it took you a while. And, of course, Leon, Matt Andruscavage. So next week, it looks like we picked an uneven amount of games, me and Matt. So it looks like we'll have a new leader going into the playoffs one way or the other. So make sure you check us out next week. Make sure you check out the Grueling Truth Network on Facebook. Just put in the Grueling Truth. You'll find the Facebook page. Follow that. It has all the shows. We're on Spreaker and Stitcher. Soon to be iHeart, iTunes. So make sure, and I really want to thank everybody for listening to the shows. I mean, the 2 months we've been on our own, we had over 32,000 listens. We had close to 5,000 listens just last week alone. So we really appreciate everybody listening in. Make sure you check out SteelbergBox.com at www.steelbergbox.com. If you're a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, great site to get on, buy a birthday present or just something for a loved one. Also, check out Gridiron Mo at www.gridironmo.com. Great game to play, especially with your family. It's a lot easier than playing fantasy football. So if you got a wife and you want to get her involved in watching football with you, that's the way to do it. So make sure you check out SteelbergBox.com and Gridiron Mo. So for Dave Siderski, Leon Searcy, Matt Andruscavage, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.